What is going on, people? Welcome to a new live stream on this channel. Very bright right now. Very, very, very bright. That's better. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly jump on here real quick and do a little live stream because I haven't done one in a while. So thought I'd answer some of your questions. On some of the videos that I've been doing recently. Also, I have to shout out Bishop Rotary for sending me that package because that's it just blew my mind away. And I actually was tattooed the other day with the machines that I got from Bishop, the ones, and that liner machine bangs, like so good at lining. It's a joke. It's probably the most powerful, like hard hitting rotary machine for lining that I've ever used in my life. And so did the guy. He said exactly the same that tattooed me. So yeah. What's going on, people? Yeah, so yeah, the shader was really nice as well, really nice and smooth. So yeah, really, really, really nice machines. And it actually, having used the machines on myself, it sort of gave me a feeling on how they felt whilst I was being tattooed. The line obviously punches real hard, but you can tell that it's weird, like, because I've used different machines before, and I feel like when I use the one machines, they didn't traumatize my skin as much as other machines that I've been tattooed with, which is good for the healing process and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So, what's going on? Valentine Martinez. Amanda Kelly says, what world better, pens or coil? I think these new one machines that Bishop Rotary have brought out are the best rotary machines on the market. The guy that tattooed me with them also said that he's used the Zion machine, and he didn't like it as much as the one machine. Now, I haven't used the Zion machine, so I can't really comment on that. But if you like, well, like he just said that these machines are the best rotary machines he's ever used. So I can't wait to use them, to be honest, and see for myself. But yeah, like he said, like that 5 mil stroke is just insane. Let's have a look at all your things. I've got real bad hay fever today. No idea why. The last sort of week, my eyes have been itching like right in the middle, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I've just like got blocked nose and stuff, and yeah, it's so weird. So I had to take a allergy tablet today, and it's slowly coming back now. So I've got itchy eyes again. What's up from Montreal? Chuck Norris, 450. Jeremiah Hernandez. I'm thinking about getting the Bishop Packer as my all-round. Would you recommend getting the liner as well and the shader? So, like I said earlier, I've had the shader used on me and I've had the liner used on me. The liner packs a punch. It's actually recommended at what, 6 to 8 volts, I think. I think it is. I could be wrong without looking at it. But we had to turn it down to 5 volts because it was just hitting so hard and so consistent, man. He was like almost scared that it was hitting my skin too hard, but it wasn't traumatizing it. It's like such a unbelievable tattoo machine. The liner, like the way I look at it is, if you've got the money there, I have, like, the majority of what anybody does in a tattoo procedure is line work and shading work, and I would get both machines because you wouldn't really need another machine then. Like, you literally have your whole setup in 2 machines. The liner works so well because it's got the 5mm stroke on it. There's no other machine out there that hits as hard and as consistent and packs that much of a punch as that liner 1 machine. That's a really special liner machine, and it's configured obviously with the 5mm stroke to, like, it's made the way it's made to smash in some really nice lines, really crisp lines. So that's why I would recommend getting that. And then the shader, if I sneeze through this thing, it's because I've got bad hay fever. I haven't got coronavirus. Well, I hope I haven't got coronavirus, but yeah. So yeah, I think getting the liner and the shader would be a really good thing to do. The packer runs at, like, what is it, a 4.2 mil? I think that still would be good for lining, but shading, I don't think that would be that great for shading. I don't think it would be as soft as you'd want it to be. Obviously, you know, like, lining would be fine with that, but shading with that would be pretty hard, I think, to achieve a nice smooth blend, because the stroke's just quite high still. Obviously, shader's the 3.5mm, which is fixed, and yeah, that's what I would recommend, because I've had it shaded on me and stuff like that. I got mandala work done on my elbow using the shader and the liner, and then did some packing work up here just to cover some stuff up, and then shaded out with the shader and stuff. And it's it's really nice, really nice. And we also filled this gap in here around the thing with the stippling effect with the shader as well, and it's really good, really good. So Barley Tattooer says, I have the packer and it's absolutely not for shading. No, I didn't think so. Considering how hard the 5mm hits, that'd be stupidly hard to shade real soft with the packer and the liner. It would just traumatize the skin too much because it just hits so hard. Khan Artist Day says, what's your opinion on the FK Iron Zion pen? So I haven't actually used it. The guy that tattoos me, I trust his judgment because he's tested a lot of, probably more tattoo machines than I have. And he said he didn't like it. He said I can't remember what exactly he said about it, but he said that he didn't like it. He couldn't get used to it. I don't know if it was because it was the pen style machine, or if it was something to do with the motor, or how it ran, or something like that, but he didn't like it for some reason, and he really went off pen machines because that was I feel like I'm lopsided here. He felt like it was like, after using the Zion pen, he really went off pens. So when he wanted to try out, I was like, hey, try out these 1 machines on me. He was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. And he fell in love, and he's actually trying to order 2 now, but we can't find any in the country. So I think he'll have to order them from America, which will just cost so much more for shipping and stuff. But he really likes them to the point where he literally went and got them the next day. So what power supply do I use from B-Boy to Nil? I use a EMS 420 Econ device, power pack. Yes, EIKON, I think it's spelled, and it's the 420 EMS. Yeah. Hey, so Harvey Greensman says, "Hey bro, why doesn't white ink stay? Looks like I'm just scarring the skin. Not a tattoo artist. Just do it myself as a hobby." Yeah, you're probably spending too much time in the skin with the needle. You want to literally get in and get out really quickly with white ink because it's so easy to scar the skin and overwork the skin. Even if it doesn't look like it's in, it probably is. And yeah, probably because you're not a tattoo artist, you know, you're not experienced enough to use white ink. So yeah, probably don't use white ink. Mr. Radio LT says, big fan, what's the difference between grey wash and black and white mix? Black and white mix? I've never heard of black and white mix. But grey wash is obviously black ink that's just washed down into different levels of tones. So in my setup, I'll have a solid black, and then I'll just like drop system my grey washes in the sense that I'll do like a half a cup, which is a medium grey wash, and then I'll fill the rest up with like shading solution. So grey wash is just, do you know what I mean? And I think what you mean from black and white is maybe like opaque greys. Some artists use opaque greys, which look a bit bluey. I'm not really a fan of that, to be honest. I don't think it looks realistic enough for me, for my kind of liking, I suppose. But yeah. Hey Ollie, would the 5mm stroke be good for the stipple shade? Yes, I think it would be. Actually, it really is good for the stipple shade. So one of the things I noticed when getting tattooed with the 5mm stroke and the 3.5mm stroke was that the 3.5mm stroke tended to snag the skin when I was being tattooed, and the 5mm stroke didn't snag the skin because it just punches so hard and gets in and out really quickly. Yeah, so that's like the liner machine, the 5mm stroke is insane for stippling, which is one of the reasons why the artist that tattooed me did want to get that machine, because he does that a lot. That's like his main style. So yeah, that's why he fell in love with the machines as soon as, you know, he was using them for like four hours, and he was like, man, I have to get one of these. So yeah, crazy. Let's have a look. What is the best portrait shades? To be honest, I'm open to trying new inks out. What I use right now is dynamic triple black and then dynamic black, and then I just mix my own grey washes. I really like the look of Empire inks. I want to probably go and get some of them soon and try them out, because he used Empire inks and I like the shade that it's I like the sort of colour that is healed into my skin. So yeah, this Frank Sinatra portrait is pretty good, and this was done by what was it, Fusion. This was Fusion, I think, and that's pretty good. That's healed quite nice, quite dark. I like dark tattoos, you know. I like how it stays dark in the skin. Yeah, Empire Ink's good. So far, so good on my skin, anyway. Mark Monaghan says, also, I'm currently waiting to start at my new studio. Which would you say the best tattoo machine? To be honest, my new favourite machines are the One machines. And it's not because, you know, I've done a video about it and stuff like that. Like, if I didn't like the machines, I'd just send them back. I just wouldn't post about them. But hand on heart, I think the liner machine's like pretty special. So is the shader machine. You can tell how consistently smooth it is, but that liner machine really, really packs a punch, to the point where I wasn't even using the minimum voltage. Depends on how fast you line, I suppose, but how fast your hand is. But I wasn't using the minimum voltage that it recommends to use, just because it was so powerful. It was smashing ink in so easy. So yeah. Jason Vaughan, thanks for answering my questions. No worries, man. I watched Daniel Silver tattoo time lapses and it looks like he uses a long stripe bishop for stippling. Yeah, I think he does as well. Yeah, I'm not going to say any more on that dude because I don't really like him. When can I tattoo again? Denizo Inc. says, when you can tattoo again, is it possible in GB this time? So yeah, man, I'm not tattooing again till July the 4th now, I think. So still so long, but super long. I'm hoping to tattoo my flatmate from here. Obviously, I know, you know, we're not infected, so yeah, I may as well just tattoo my flatmate, and then try and do a couple videos on using the one machines, which will really help, and really sort of like go into depth on. I want to set up a couple camera angles as well, like I have been, and start to make some content again as well. Think I'm going to be doing his chest and then maybe another arm. So yeah. Miles Jones, thanks for the contribution, man. He says, hey Oliver, any updates on traveling schedule? I live in Wisconsin, United States, and want to make sure to get booked in. Keep it sick tattoos and amazing content. Yeah, man, thank you for that, first of all. So no, the first place I'm traveling to is Turkey. When this is all done for about 4 or 5 days, and then I'll be coming back, and then I really do want to get over to the US really badly, but I am kind of scared of this coronavirus, like with like traveling and stuff. Like I feel like there's going to be so many different second spikes and stuff around the world, and I feel like here, even though in London it's now calming down a bit, we're well under 0.4 or something now. The R is the infection rate, so we're one of the lowest places in the UK now, which is weird because we're the most populated place in the UK, in terms of like people per square mile. So yeah, I feel like I'm definitely probably gonna head over to the US maybe the end of this year, seeing what it's all coronavirus permitting though. So whatever happens with that first, and then yeah, hopefully I should get over there. Definitely next year, 100% next year, but all depends on the coronavirus. And if we get a vaccine, if there's a vaccine, I'll just jab myself with the vaccine and then come straight over. I'm gonna, what's up guys? If you're just tuning in, please smash a like on the video and subscribe if you're new as well, in the bottom right hand corner. That'd be really cool. I think it's in the bottom right hand corner. I Tell Myself Secret says, how long should I wait until I finish filling in a tattoo on someone I did last night? He wants it today. Should we wait until everything? Yeah, I'd wait until it's fully healed. Wait till I finish filling in a tattoo on someone. So like you've half done your tattoo. You could, I recommend either like, say if you're doing like a big piece, like 2-day sessions back to back. Don't let like a day in between and then do it after that day in between. So like do it on like say the Monday and Tuesday, or like 2 days together. Never go like Monday tattoo, then wait Tuesday, then start again on Wednesday, because it's the healing process has already started to happen. So yeah, 2 days back to back should be cool. Just be careful when going back over it. I wouldn't like touch up stuff that you've already done from the first day, because you're just going to go into the skin that's already traumatized, and the skin that's already been tattooed has started to the healing process. So I would probably wait until it's all healed if you are going to go and touch stuff up. So yeah, that's that one. What's up, Frank Montoya? Thanks for tuning in, man. I hope you're all well. 4th of July is going to be the best day of my life. Yeah, mate. As soon as I'm working, you're going to know about it. Like this channel's going to know about it. Wait a minute, what's the time? The NASA thing's supposed to be, I think I missed it. Hold on a minute, guys. Yeah, I think I missed it. Apparently you could see the NASA shuttle in the sky, but it's too cloudy here. Well, it's not that cloudy, but there's clouds in the southwest, which sucks. What's going on, Peter De Leon? Thanks for that, man. DJ Mikey Z Kim Hai says, yo, I love you. You're the best. Thank you, mate. Oh, it didn't lift off due to weather. Oh, well, that's fine then. That's calm. Where is it still gonna lift off today, or? I thought where NASA was, it was always like really good weather for these kind of things. Flo A. Dot says, hi Oliver, thanks for all your videos. I learned so much from you. How can I do smooth shade in small areas? What needle was better? Thanks. Smooth shade, I would use just a really small bug pin magnum. That's what I like to use. Bug pin magnums are pretty nice to use. Real small ones, say like a 9 curved bug pin magnum is really nice to use. Also, if you wanted to like fill in areas, you could probably use like all these small areas in between here. You can see like here and stuff like that. Like that was used like a stipple. You can see like the stipply kind of things. That was used with a 3-round liner, so you could use that. Yeah, three-round liner, but then you're gonna see kind of like dots, like stipple dots. So yeah, just be careful of that. Miles Jones says, no worries, of course, on the time frame, late this year or next year would be perfect. Can't wait to get in touch and stuff. Yeah, man, like 100%. I'll be down for that. 100%. I really want to do like a tour of the US. I think that's where the majority of you guys are viewing from. So yeah, like I do want to do like a tour of the US. I want to go to like LA and New York and I don't know, like maybe Colorado and Texas and stuff like that. Really cool. As many states as I can possibly do, depending on how long I can get a visa for. But yeah, that's the next place I'm going to go to, I think, is the US after Turkey. CRS Soul says, what would be the best way to find or approach someone for an apprenticeship? So this is the hardest thing that I've found in my career so far, is that which is why I taught myself. So I would start drawing like religiously. I would start drawing religiously because the more sort of drawings and stuff, and like sort of put together like a portfolio of work together, and then go into every tattoo studio around the like vicinity where you live or whatever, and just hand them your work and say, look, like, I'm really after an apprenticeship, blah blah. Just message as many people as you can. Yeah, like but then don't think to yourself that you're going to go in there and get one straight away. You know, you've been drawing for like 2 years solidly, built like this massive portfolio of like this work like folder like this big, like this thick, and then think that you're going to go in there and get a tattoo apprenticeship. They're really hard to come by, which is why I do this channel as well, and just to spread light on sort of like techniques that people can get from an apprenticeship kind of thing. I taught myself, so it's possible to teach yourself and become like a half decent tattoo artist if you go about it the right way, and just don't give up when things get frustrated. Because I've been sat there where I've been tattooing and I'm like, man, like screw this. I literally, like, why isn't it doing it the way I want it to like how I want it to go? You know, I can't smooth shade, I can't do this, and then you just carry on just trying to like build up your sort of skill set. There's been loads of times that I've thought, you know, like got really frustrated and like really angry, and I'm like, oh, for God's sake, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, if you can't find an apprenticeship, like the best way to learn is to find an apprenticeship with a really reputable artist. So you're going in there and you're going to learn the right things. Otherwise, it's just going to be pretty hard to not go down like some bad routes, you know, and learn things that you will get in bad habits from. I'm just going to go all the way up the comments real quick, just so I can start from the top and just... What's up, Wolfgang in London? Hello from a fellow Londoner. Man, it's been hot today. It's been hot. It's been, to be fair, the last couple weeks and the rest of this week and next week's going to be beautiful weather. It's like late 20s here, so I think it got to like 31 degrees the other day, which is nice for the UK. Brazil, Jeff Tattooer says hello from Brazil. Brian Z, hello from New Orleans, hello. Aldo Caesar, what's up? From Brazil again. We've got a lot of Brazil in the house. Smash a like on the video if you're from Brazil or the US. Justin Parks, what's going on? Ronald Manalo, hello from the US. Ethan Hunter, what's up? Kenny Griffin, what's up? Amanda Kelly, oh yeah, I've done that one with the pens or coils. Oh yeah, I would choose pens, 100%. Rotary machines, I think, are the, like, coil machines are basically like the industry, like, is where the industry is made from. Do you know what I mean? So those are the first tattoo machines. So this whole industry in tattooing wouldn't be made possible without that. So I completely respect that heritage of the industry from coils. But I think rotary machines are just so much more consistent and better. Although there are artists like Eric Messinazen that I've said before, and a lot of amazing artists that use coil machines really well and achieve some of the best stuff I've ever seen, to be honest. But they are a lot harder to use, I think, and to get good at. Bali Tattoo, all the best from Iceland. What's going on? Iceland, wow, how hot is it there? Is it nice and warm, or is it icy? DJ Mikey Z, what's going on? Israel. David Silver, what's going on? John Paul Andreas, hi Oliver. He says, hi Oliver, I love all your videos and all of your tattoo works. I learned a lot from it. I just want to ask, what is the proper handle of the tattoo grip to avoid shaky lines? I think everyone obviously grips their machine differently to other people, and what I like to do is I like to have quite a fat grip, so I'm not using it like thin as like a pencil. I feel like having a fat grip makes it easier to not wobble and have shaky lines, and having a machine that's pretty sound is good as well, because if it's not a machine that vibrates a lot, it's going to be good to combat that as well. So someone asked like why I don't like Daniel Silver. Long story short, I recently saw a news article about him, and he's been arrested apparently, because like, I've never met the guy and stuff like that, but he was partying during lockdown as well, which I think is fucking stupid. He was partying with his friend who died. He was a famous YouTube star, because they crashed. They got into his car, Daniel Silver's McLaren, and they crashed, and he died in the crash. And Daniel Silver went to flee the scene, and leave his mate just dead in the car. And I think that's really low. Like, I think that's horrific. But yeah, like, my respect went for him as a person, not as a tattooist, because he's a good tattooist, but as a person, like, I think it's like as low, the lower the low when you leave your so-called mate, you know, dying in a car, and you try and flee the scene, and the only reason he didn't get away was because people that saw the crash stopped him. So yeah, pretty brutal, to be honest. And I can just say, what a prick. So yeah, what's going on, people? If you are just tuning in, please smash a like on the video and subscribe if you are new here. We do these live stream Q&As occasionally. Lockdown is slowly being lifted here in London, so it's kind of getting back to normal. Thank you for the likes, people. Thank you for the contributions as well. Every little helps, and it keeps this channel going nicely, so thank you for that as well, for those who have contributed. And if you do contribute, I suppose it gets your comment on the screen for longer, and I can actually see it, because I do miss a couple of questions. So if you do have a question that you really do want to get answered, I will read it out, because I'll see it pop up on the screen in a nice color. So Richard Andrew says, just started teaching myself, been drawing for years, and nowhere near me has any opportunities. So with the help of you and art, something I've been grinding every day to get my dream job. Big thanks. No worries, man. I'm glad I can help. S and H says, hi Oliver from down in Kent. What's going on? Lovely Kent. I know that place very well. Dallas, Texas is hot, from Johnny Brown. I'm sure that is very hot there. Texas is always hot, isn't it, I suppose? Oh man, I'd love to go to Texas. It's like one of my favorite places that I'd love to go to. Also my Patreon, if you do want to subscribe to that, I've got loads of like more in-depth tutorials where I talk over tattoo videos, explain what I'm doing with my hand, etc, etc. I've got loads of tattoo kind of technique tutorials on there that go more in depth other than what I do on YouTube. So yeah, go and head over to my Patreon account, which is www.patreon.com/Oliver Air, which is my name. And yeah, go and check it out. Tiffany Ann says, so you don't need an apprenticeship to become a tattoo artist? If so, how do I go about that? Love you. So you don't need an apprenticeship to become a tattoo artist. Anybody can become a tattoo artist, but to become a good one and a reputable one, you kind of do need to go through a decent shop and learn from someone that has a reputable reputation, I suppose, like a good reputation. Otherwise, you're kind of setting yourself up for setting yourself up for a hard journey. I've been through it. I didn't have an apprenticeship. I taught myself, and it was a hard journey to get to where I am now. 5 years later, I've been doing this now for 5 years, and it's, you know, it's had its good times and it's had its bad times. But yeah, man. But you don't technically need an apprenticeship to become a tattoo artist. Anybody can become one if you practice enough and you know what you're doing in and out of the skin. Then you're sweet. Especially with the hygiene as well. The hygiene side of things, you have to be pretty up to date with. But to tattoo legally here in the UK, you have to have a licensed premises. You don't have to be licensed yourself, but you need a licensed premises where you are working from if you're charging people money. I used to tattoo myself. All my legs are tattooed, not all of them, but most of my legs are tattooed by stuff that I've done myself. Just different styles as well. So like, I'll show you real quick. I've got like stuff like this on my legs that I've done, like a weird mandala there, just random stuff, you know, like thick kind of line stuff, and then like all that kind of stuff that I've done to sort of teach myself like line depth, and tattooing like sort of neo-trad kind of stuff, kind of like here's one of my faves as well, an ice cream cone. Like stuff like that, I feel like you get to know the right depth quite quickly, because you're obviously tattooing real skin. Fake skin's quite hard to tattoo. You have to be slower in fake skin, so which I found, if you're really slow in fake skin and then you go onto real skin and then you keep that same hand speed really slow, you're going to over traumatize the skin. What needle did you use for the ice cream cone? Wolfgang in London. Cool, now you tested me. So on the thick outline, I'll try and show it up again. So on the thick outline, I used an 18 round liner. I've got bruises all on my leg from Bmx in. And then I used, in the small lines, I used like a 5 round liner, I think, or a 3 round. No, I think it was a 5 round. And then I used like Magnum shadings, Magnum needles to shade with. I used a bug pin, I believe. I probably used like an 11 bug pin Magnum, I think, to shade that. And then obviously just different grey tones. So yeah, that's what I used on the ice cream cone. Yeah, I've got crazy stuff on my legs, man. But yeah, I've just tried loads of stuff. Like I did my whole hand as well. I've done my whole hand with dots. If you can see that, it's pretty bad. Like it's fallen out a bit. Obviously, I was like, I think like the lines aren't that great. Like hands are really hard to tattoo as well. So a lot of that I used with a 3 round liner, dot work. First ever dot work I tried to do. Obviously I've gone too deep on the hand because it's like blown out some of the dots. So. But it's all part of the learning curve. So when I look at it, I'm like, okay, you know, I did that however many years ago, and I look at my work now when I do it, and I think, you know, that's kind of a indication of how far I've come, you know. So there's a lot of stippling. Have you tried the Bishop ones on fake skin? That was from Goat. I haven't, not yet. But I'll be trying them real soon. But I have been tattooed by the Bishop ones and they are amazing. Probably the best rotary machines I've used so far. I'm going to do another 20 minutes. I'm just going to do an hour on these because sometimes they do get too long. These live Q&As go real quick. If you want your question answered, then super chat really helps me see your questions. Italo Romero, thank you for that contribution, man. I really appreciate that. I'm just going through the comments now. Okay, so let's have a look. Wolfgang in London, no worries, man. Keep grinding, my man. Day one says, what was the biggest lesson you learned on skin to break through to the next level? Pooh, that's a good question. I really think I'm going to go to that question in a minute, Jay Dhaliwal, about the ads limbs question about sponsorships, etc. So the breakthrough, I think when I first started, I started doing dot work because I was afraid to shade, because I couldn't shade. I couldn't do smooth shading. I didn't know the technique to do it. I didn't know what to do with my hand, kind of thing. And I felt like when I tried, it just looked horrific. There's like a process to shading. And I feel like when I went into trying different styles, because I didn't know which style I wanted to do, I didn't know if I wanted to be like a realistic artist, even though I really liked the look of realism and stuff like that. Like my favorite artist when I first started was that Eric Masinazin from over in LA and New York and Miami, I think. So I really loved the stuff that he did, but I just had no idea how he did it, and the processes he would have to take to achieve what he achieves. So I feel like when I started finding the right depth in the skin, that was when I started to learn more about shading, because you can brush the skin when you're shading with a mag really lightly and build the layers up, whereas I thought, like lining, you had to find the right depth and then smash the lining straight in like one take, and then obviously dip and then smash it in again. I think it's a really hard question to. I think when I started to use thicker needles, like a 18 round liner, for instance, like stuff I've done on my legs, that's when I started to really get to know how hard you can push with different needle groupings to get a really clean line. It gave me that scale of how hard I need to push with each needle grouping. So like an 18 round liner, you have to push quite hard to get, because it's like a bigger surface area, you have to have a greater force to achieve a really thin, a real nice crisp line, because when you're pushing an 18 round liner into the skin, if you don't push hard enough, you're not going to have a real crisp line, because some of it's going to go in and some of it's going to stay out. So especially over different like bumps and lumps in the skin, you're not going to achieve the same consistency throughout the whole line. Whereas if you then push the same, if you then went straight from an 18 round liner to like a 3 round liner, the 3 round liner barely takes any pushing to get in the skin, because it's so thin and it's a smaller surface area. to puncture the skin in. So I feel like having tried out all these different sort of sizes of needles, I suppose, needle groupings, it really allowed me to then get a gist of how hard I need to then press in the skin. I think that was the breakthrough when I started to know how hard I needed to go to get to the right depth, basically, in the skin. And that helped me through lining, especially, and shading. So yeah, that I would say that. So ads limmer, I need to find that real quick. Where is it? There's a lot of you on here tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I thought I had another super chat, but it wasn't. Ads limmer says, how do you go about growing the gram and getting the sponsors, etc.? Is it the hashtags? Do you have to pay? Can you break it down? How to get them follows, etc.? Sweet bro, love the movement. Thanks for the question, man. So growing Instagram, I started to, first of all, you have to be active every day. You can pay other people that have a bigger, a big group. Like a lot of people that I see today will just collab with people in the sense that, say there's someone with 100,000 followers, they'll then go to, and they might have 100,000 followers in the fashion industry, or just an industry of some sort. It doesn't have to be a tattoo industry. Probably you would want to do that away from the tattoo industry, so you'd get more clientele, because you wouldn't do what I'm about to say with a tattoo artist, because you're going to be stealing their clientele from their page that they've worked hard to get. So what I have done in the past is collaborate with people with a lot of followers. So last year I went out to Ibiza and tattooed a load of sort of Instagram famous people, which in turn, I gave them tattoos for sort of exposure. So I tattooed them and they put me on their stories, etc. I partied with them. I was in that kind of lifestyle with them for like 4 or 5 days, and the engagement levels that I saw went through the roof, which it would if there's like 5 or 6 people, 5 or 6 people that are constantly sharing you on their stories as well. So in collaborating with people, but first of all, what I first started to do with Instagram was I first started to draw a lot. I started posting my drawings out there that I was really, really proud of. Not just any drawings, not like, oh yeah, that's okay, but I could kind of do better. Like drawings that I was really proud of, that I've spent hours doing. I posted them up, and then I started to try and find my style in what I wanted to start to tattoo. So I'd then find my style, so whether it be black and grey or dot work or mandalas kind of stuff, or like neo-trad stuff or traditional work or stuff like that. Excuse me. I think back then as well, when I first started, I really loved like traditional sort of neo-trad stuff, which I still love now. So I started to draw that kind of thing. I made loads of drawings. Like I had like even Disney girls. Then I put like tattoos on them, just to make them look different, and then posted them up. And then slowly your name starts to snowball about, where you will get more and more interest because you have sort of created this style that you do, and some people will like it and some people won't, depending on their personal preference, but it will snowball. The more active you are on Instagram, the more I post. I don't probably now, but I try to post every day. It helps with engagement. You can even get into engagement groups where there'll be like an engagement group of like 20, 30 plus people, where you'll say, oh, I've just posted this up, and then you'll post it into like the WhatsApp group or something, and then it's like an engagement group, and then they'll then click on that link that you've posted, and then they'll throw a comment or a like on there. And the more comments and engagement that you get on your when you're like sort of posting and stuff, like, then I think the more sort of engagement you get on your posts, is what I'm trying to say, is Instagram algorithm likes that. So posting more, getting more comments and likes on a picture will obviously throw you into your page into the Instagram algorithm of always sharing your stuff on the discovery page or something like that. I haven't ever paid for sponsorships or nothing. I'm not sponsored myself. I haven't paid for anything ever, because I think, what's the point? You know, you see people that have like 50,000 followers, and then they'll get like 90 likes on a picture, and you think, well, that's bullshit, because, do you know, like, you know, you've got 50,000 people and only 90 people are liking your bit. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So, but a lot of companies, when you do grow your Instagram and grow your social medias, you will get to a point where companies will then start to approach you and want to, you know, because you've grown an audience where people will listen to you and people will, you know, like your content. But again, and then they'll start to, like, you know, throw you business opportunities and stuff like that to earn a bit more extra money. But I'll only sort of advertise the things that I think I would use myself. So I wouldn't just, it's like that. I've had a ton of aftercare companies come at me, and I cannot stress to you, you know, if it's something that I won't use on my own tattoos, I just think it's a gimmick and just a money earner kind of thing. You know, and everything that I do post on my social media, I have basically paid for. You know, all my equipment so far I've paid for myself from my own pocket. You know, I would love for my content and my work to be as good as I can get it, to then get a sponsor one day, which would help in, you know, bringing the costs down, etc. I'm not sure how it works because I've never been sponsored. So I don't know whether or not they send stuff out for free. I have no idea, not a clue. But yeah, no. So like inks and stuff, I pay for. Needles I pay for. Everything I pay for. So machines I pay for. You know, is nothing that I. You know, I'm as real as you kind of get in the sense of. I'm not just saying, oh yeah, you should go and buy this machine because it's amazing, just because I've been paid like £300 to say that it's amazing. I'd never do that. I'd never throw anybody under the bus because of that. And I wouldn't, you know, because if someone then goes and buys that machine and it's shit and it breaks down and you know, it breaks and the motor doesn't last a month, you know, it's going to fall back on my name. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I would suggest to do. But in terms of, you know, how to grow your Instagram, going back again, the more active you are on there, the more you're gonna, hashtags work. I don't tend to use hashtags though, because I just think it's just, I don't know, maybe I don't know enough about it, but I've just never used hashtags before. I thought it was the best way to do it, but I don't think no one searches for hashtags. They just, I think the main thing you have to get down is your content. If you're posting good tattoos and good pictures and good drawings, then you're going to get a good following because people are going to tag other people in your posts, and that's how you grow. You know, you start the snowball effect. You know, you start small and then you go bigger, and that's how especially YouTube works. You know, start posting videos, and the more you post, the more the algorithm kicks you out into, you know, recommended viewers and stuff, and that's just how it works. So yeah, man, I went on a bit then. So Denizo Inc. says, what liner size would you prefer for portrait with stippling technique and why? Hashtag Oliver. So portraits, I tend to use a smaller needle because I think it's more realistic in the sense of stippling. If you're using like a 5-round liner, or I don't know, like an 8-round liner or something like that, and you try and stipple with it, the small stipple marks are going to be fatter and less realistic, in my opinion. I would stick at like a tight 3, or I wouldn't necessarily go above a 3-round liner because I feel like you can get softer blends with the stippling technique with a smaller grouping needle. Say like a 3-round liner, or like even a single round liner, a 1-round liner. But I normally stick with like a tight 3 or a 3-round liner, just a normal one for stippling. It's good on the skin as well. I feel like stippling's really good on the skin in terms of traumatizing it. I think you have to really go over a spot a lot of times to traumatize the skin with the stippling technique. That's one of the main reasons I love that technique as well. Hello, Aray Hayte from Turkey. JJ, let's talk about BMX riding and how's your hand doing BMX and tattooing, because I ride too and sometimes messes me up. Yeah, so I'm pretty beat up, to be honest. I've only started like literally, I did a bit like 5 years ago before I started tattooing, and now I've started pretty heavily. I do like dirt jumps and trails and stuff. And yeah, it's more my legs that I mess up. My wrist can get a bit, like, because it's like quite harsh, some of the bumps and stuff, so my wrist can get a bit tender, but it's not too bad, man. I'm just super careful. I wear pads and stuff as well, so yeah, I like to protect. Like, I might look like a dick down the skate park with all my pads on and wrist supports and stuff, but you know what, like, if I come off my bike and I go down hard and I break my fall with my wrist, and I really bruise my wrist to the point where I'm struggling to like move it or bend it or like, you know, support it, I'm in trouble. I'm not going to be working. So yeah, I would just I would just start wearing your stuff, wearing pads. How often? So same JJ says, how often and how long did you draw realism in sketchbook before attempting the style with the machine? I find tattooing and drawing very, very different. Yeah, I find it different as well, to the point where it's nowhere near the same. I tried to draw realism with a pencil, and I found that I wasn't that good at it because I just didn't have the patience to blend. I tried, you know, I cut it a couple of times and stuff, but I don't know if I'm using the wrong paper or I'm using the wrong pencils. I have no idea, but I found that I just went straight into tattooing. I didn't even start drawing anything crazy. I've done like a couple biro. I wonder if I've got it actually. I've done a couple biro things. So this is biro pen. So yeah, I mean it's backwards, but this is biro. Like these are just sketches, you know, that I've done real quickly. Biro, I feel, is you get a sense of how hard and stuff you're pressing as well. So this is another one that I mean, this is nowhere near finished, but like it's like a girl, like the hair's not finished yet, but it's like a girl with like, do you know what I mean? Like a rose tattoo on her shoulder kind of thing. It's nowhere near finished, but yeah, you can see like how I'm like crisscrossing it. It's almost the same as stippling, I found, doing biro, and like obviously layering it up. Like I'm using the same kind of same kind of pressure, but I'm just then layering it up, you know. So that's, yeah, another thing I did. That's you know, like there's not much I've done in here, to be honest. And I've done the eye as well, if you didn't see. Yeah, you can see like how I've cross hatched it kind of thing. It's the same thing as stippling, and the biro pens are pretty good as well. So yeah, that's the only sort of stuff I've done. But again, like that, I've traced the outline out, and then just gone in like I would with my shading. I've traced the outline like I would with a stencil, and then I've gone in with shading it, and so yeah, so that's how I did that. So Eva says, I know tattooing is still a male-dominated industry, and I'm worried I won't be given a chance to take it seriously. Do you have any advice? I don't agree with that at all, because I think there's a really good mixture of. I think the tattoo industry is really good in the sense of, because you're self-employed, you have a good, because it's like I was watching videos today about this kind of topic, and I don't want to dive too far into it, but there's big corporate businesses that are male driven and stuff, and it's because those industries, you know, there's more male CEOs of FTSE 100 companies than there are female, and it's because if you're a female that wants a family, you know, a male has like to be in this to run a massive company, you have to give up a lot of your time, and that means, you know, literally your whole life you have to give up everything. There's so many sacrifices you have to make to make it big in a corporate business, whereas a woman wouldn't do that, which is why you don't find many women being CEOs of big companies, because, you know, they can't sacrifice the things that they have to sacrifice, i.e. your family, you know, raising a baby, etc., etc., etc. To do that. If you don't want kids, then, you know, there's other industries that are female dominated, like the medical sector and stuff like that, and they do an amazing job, you know. So I feel like the tattoo industry is so equally balanced in the sense that you're self-employed, that you don't have to give up so much time. It's really flexible in how much you can give into the industry. The more time you give into the industry, the better you're going to become quicker. So I don't think you're going to be setting up to fail. I think, you know, there's some amazing tattoo artists that are female out there, and, you know, I really don't think, I think you're going to be given an opportunity just fine. Also, just be careful of creeps that, if you like, there's a lot of geezers that I know in this industry that just prey on women, you know, good looking women that want to get into, or any type of women, I suppose, that get into wanting to be a tattoo artist, and they just use them because they want to get in your pants, basically. So yeah, just be careful of that. There's some dickheads out there, but yeah. It's a Fairy Life says, I'm going to do a couple more questions. It's a Fairy Life says, so I'm colorblind, but I still want to tattoo. Is there any chance of me getting an apprenticeship, or should I just try and make it solo? Do you want to get into color tattoos, or do you want to get into black and grey stuff? I wouldn't have a clue. I don't think I'm colorblind. I haven't really been tested, but I'm pretty sure I'm not colorblind, but I wouldn't know how that works in the color side of tattooing. But I guess if you can still tattoo the right shades, then I'm sure you'll get used to that system, I guess. I think you should try and get an apprenticeship 100%. And if you can't, then yeah, try solo by all means. That's what I did. I tried to get an apprenticeship and I couldn't get one because it's so hard to, and I just went solo, and that's what I've done. Let's have a look. Tristan Phillip, is coconut oil good to put on your tattoo? Yeah, it is. Just try not to use too much of it because it can so with any aftercare, I always try and use like natural kind of stuff. Again, with all the aftercare companies that have approached me to try and endorse their products, etc., etc. Hustle Butter I think is good because it's obviously vegan and stuff, and I know that it's nice and safe. There's no chemicals in it, etc. But Panthen I don't agree with using because there's chemicals and it's not natural in the sense. I know it's for babies and nappy rash, so it's stuff like that, but I'm not sure why that was ever used as a tattoo treatment cream. No idea. One, it's hard to get on because it's thick and it's horrible and it's just not nice. It sticks to clothes. It's really uncomfortable to wear. I like to use cocoa butter, the unscented one, or the scented one. Doesn't really matter. I've used the scented one and it's absolutely fine on me. I've always used cocoa butter or coconut oil. Oil, if you've obviously been shaved, oil can clog your pores a bit more, I feel, because it's a bit greasier. So if you're not prone to getting spots and stuff or shaving rash, then yeah, I would use coconut oil because there's like antiseptic properties to it. But cocoa butter is absolutely fine. I use cocoa butter still now on my tattoos and it's fine. So yeah. Oh, my nose is running now. My eyes are very, very sore. I'm just gonna scroll up a bit. I'm gonna do one more question because I've now been on here for over an hour. Oh, I'm getting tired. What's up, Samuel Fruge, if I've pronounced that right. Fruge from Sweden. What's going on? What is going on? Right, Chris Palmer says, first of all, you're a sick tattoo artist. Thank you very much. Can you explain what an M1 needle is? As I'm starting out and seems to drag against the fake skin, I wouldn't want that to happen to a client. M1 needle is the type of arrangement, it's the type of stack that the needle was in, the arrangement is in. I mean, it's not probably going to drag as much as any other needle. I think you're probably getting the dragging motion from the needle because it's maybe hanging out too far. If I feel like my needle's out too far, it starts to almost grip the skin. I've actually got a video on this channel. It's probably from a year ago, so it's probably far down my videos, but if you go back enough, I explain what the difference is between M1 needles, etc., and different arrangements. So go and check that out, which will explain everything that you can ever want to know about M1 and etc., etc. needles. But yeah, so like the dragging kind of motion, I mean, fake skin's pretty crap anyway, to be honest. would probably hang your needle in a bit more. If it's not out anyway, it's probably just a fake skin, because fake skin's not that great to tattoo on. Although I have tattooed some fake skin before, which was called real skin, REEL skin, which was pretty good to tattoo on, which I was surprised about. So yeah, but yeah, right, I'm going to call it a night, guys. It's now 70 minutes in. Thanks for coming online and saying hello. I'll probably go on live again in the next couple of days. Chris, go and check out that video on different needle groupings and stuff, which will, I think I even explain like each box, because different companies will explain different like sort of like code words, like 09 and like 12 gauge and stuff like that, in their needle setup. So I go through everything as well. So yeah, yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in a couple of days probably, or next week. And yeah, direct drive or dragonfly style. Direct drive or dragonfly style. Daniel Ramirez. Dragonfly style is the, what do you mean? What do you mean, like dragonflies in the separate needles, or do you mean direct drivers in cartridge systems? I would go cartridge systems all the way. They're a bit more expensive, but I love cartridge systems. Right. Cheers, guys. I will catch you